In this chapter, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into what you can do with effects. We're going to start out by looking at how to create censored parts of video. This is used very frequently in video, especially nonfiction video, but when some little prankster comes along and does something obscene that needs to be edited out, maybe a particular hand gesture, or maybe they say something foul that needs to be edited out, or like you don't even want to see their lips moving and say those words, or maybe you want to obscure somebody's personality if you're interviewing them and you don't have the rights to show their face on camera. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to edit out this guy's face as if it were forbidden to be seen. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by using the 8-point garbage matte. We'll look a little bit more in detail at garbage mattes a little bit later on in this training series, but I'm going to apply this effect. And actually, I'm not going to apply it to the original. I'm going to drag a copy of the original on a track on top of the original. So yes, that might sound confusing at first, but what we are looking at is two different tracks with the same footage. So I'm going to apply the 8-point garbage matte to the top layer here. And if it helps, you can take the visibility off of the video track 2. As you probably noticed, we don't have anything on video 1 or audio track 1. So we could right click and select delete tracks. And then we could select delete video tracks and delete audio tracks and make sure these drop downs are set to all empty tracks and click OK. And that cleans up our timeline panel quite nicely. So I'm going to apply the 8-point garbage matte, make sure that's applied to our top track here. And what we're going to do is in the effect controls panel, I'm going to click the 8-point garbage matte effect to highlight it. And once it's activated, you can see these little control points. So we can basically grab these and move these around our subject's face. Now we're seeing black underneath to avoid confusion because we turned off, or I turned off, the visibility for video track 1 where our original surfer footage is. So we're right now working on the duplicate. And I've created a rough outline around his head. It doesn't have to be perfect. And next what I'm going to do is apply the mosaic effect. And now I don't want to go in this presets area, the folders with the stars on them. I can just close those up to avoid confusion. I want stylize mosaic and drag and drop that on top of our top layer here. Now as you can see, we already have the area obscured by this mosaic effect, but I want to improve the quality of the look of this. I mean, the point isn't to just make this look blurred out or to obscure it. I think the point is with this effect is we try to make it as unobtrusive as possible and still remove what we need to remove. So I'm going to open up the mosaic effect. We're going to increase the contrast of the colors by checking the sharp colors checkbox, which actually does a better job of obscuring what we have here. And then I'm going to increase the resolution of the blocks by increasing the horizontal blocks value, and then increase the vertical blocks value. And this will change based on your footage, the size and dimensions of your footage, but I went with 61 by 36 roughly, and that has a good mosaic quality. Again, we could have just made really huge blocks to block out his face, and on that point, I guess we could have just made this area really big too. But again, I think the point here is that we want to make our obstruction of his face as unobtrusive as possible. We want this to be as clean and look as original as possible. So we still have some facial features. We can tell that there's eyes and a nose and a mouth here and a chin and hair here. And it just really doesn't get in the way too much, but you can't see too many facial features. If you wanted to, you could even increase the resolution by making these blocks more so we have even finer resolution, but you got to be careful because it gets to a point where you could actually tell who the person is and or maybe what the obscene gesture is, and you definitely don't want that. So somewhere around there is looking pretty good. And again, you can go back to the 8-point garbage matte to change this if you need to. But that's how to create censored video. We have the duplicate tracks. The one on the bottom is the original. If I take off the visibility on the top there. And then we have a copy on the top with the mask, which is the 8-point garbage matte. And then an effect like mosaic, or it could be a blur, but mosaic is probably the most common one. And we put that on top and put that together. Now if we move in time, we have a good censored video. Now in this case, the surfer guy moves a little bit, and so like when he leans his head back a little bit like this, there's some of his head sticks out that's not protected, and that's kind of safe in this case, but then that also makes it so that the woodlands are also distorted out of view, and we don't really need that. So what you might want to do is select this top layer and then actually animate its motion. So you can click the layer and then move it around so that it follows along with the actual layer itself. In my experience, however, once you usually set up the big mosaic area like a subject's face or his hand, they usually don't move so much that you can actually see it. So usually you could just set it and forget it, so to speak, so that you just put it in one spot, and then as the subject moves around, they're still pretty obscured no matter where they go.